fart.
Did I have that face going?
A bit.
Well, that's a good intro. No, that was my thinking face. Again, for those of you that are just listening, we all have odd thinking faces. I don't know.
I make faces constantly. I was just curious what was happening right now.
I'm trying to think what most people's thinking faces look
Well,
like.
if you're a child, it's this. So.
The munchin. I'm thinking. We have a 3-year-old, and she is very, very opinionated. Three-nager, we've now been told
three-nager.
is what
Yep.
the term is.
Yep.
Well, welcome back. This is Historical Quickies. I'm Hunter Smith,
I'm Alex Smith.
and this is a show where we talk about the fun history behind traditions and phrases and sports and
All the things.
all the things. It's a fun idea until you now triggered your brain to do this. And then also your friends go, hey, you should do that one thing about this one phrase or the history behind this. Why'd we come up with wedding rings? Why'd we do this? Don't worry, they're all coming. But for now, I just wanted to go through more phrases because phrases and idioms,
Get you every time.
they get me. That's my jam. They get me going. And let's just say there's some that I learned about that I definitely want to go over, and I know that you know some of them.
Uh-huh.
And then there's other ones. This is the fun part about history, is that it's certain ideologies or certain theories on where some of these came about.
Okay.
Some of them are set in stone, and other ones we don't know. So that being said, I'm not going to hit you with multiple choice. Like
Okay.
I said, these are the fun ones that we just kind of want to get to the gist of it.
Okay.
And by that, get to the gist. So the theory is, no, I'm kidding. I don't know.
I was like, go on.
And we're in. But the rule of thumb is that
You know that one.
that is it. That is the first one.
Yeah.
All of these phrases are going to be about body parts.
Yeah. Great.
So every single, I think I have 10 phrases for us, or idioms.
Head, shoulders,
And-
knees, and toes.
They will discuss a body part and where it came about. So that being said, the rule of thumb.
Isn't it that you weren't allowed to beat your wife with a switch that was wider than your thumb?
That is one of the theories.
Okay, that
It
one I've
is.
heard.
Which, by the way, can we just put that up there?
Well, if you have
And in her
a...
camera angle, do we want to measure?
You want
And
to
that
see
was
something?
the last thing you saw of me.
I've got very fat thumbs, so
So I'm going to get a whooping. Rule of thumb, the phrase is more of to what? To
what do we use it for when we say it now?
Mm-hmm.
It's like the general rule of doing something is the general way to do something is, and then you'll say X.
correct.
Like,
Yeah, it's a general guideline or principle based on whatever practice or common sense rather than scientific knowledge.
Yeah.
So this is where there's a couple things. One is earliest traces of the rule of thumb are back in the 1600s because in various trades, quantities, goods, everything was measured in by the length or width of a thumb. This also made sense because the thumb is generally 1 inch.
Not
So
yours.
that they said, not this entire thing.
I'm aware.
Think they were, just the
People were
the
a lot
top
smaller
knuckle.
back then.
The top knuckle. Yes, I have a very fat thumb.
I was thinking long, but fine. Go ahead,
that too.
continue.
But so they thought, okay, well, it's kind of like 1 inch. So the
I get
rule
that.
of that is like, hey, if you give me 4 thumbs worth of this rope, you get 4 inches worth of rope. I don't know.
Just laughing because I'm like, you can't do anything with 4 inches of rope. However, let me measure out 400 thumbs worth of rope.
I think, well, yeah. I mean, that's also like the foot, if I'm not mistaken, was measured off of one king's foot. And then they thought, hey, this is what we're going to go off of. Don't quote me. I have not checked this. But that's
So that
where
was
it
12
started.
thumbs.
That was 12 thumbs. Yes.
Okay.
Anywho, the fun history that you and I have both heard that I think got famous because Boondock Saints mentioned it in
God,
the
I
movie
love that movie. Yeah.
is that in 1782 there was an English judge, Sir Francis Buller, and he was ridiculed for allegedly stating that a wife beating was okay as long as the husband used a stick no wider than a man's thumb. I just want to put this out there that it was not official on that statement and it did not exist. However, this judge did not say that you could not beat your wife. He said you could. A husband is justified in using moderate correction against his wife, but barred from serious violence. You can
Great.
whoop her. Just don't break anything.
It has to be like this. It can't be like this. Okay, you're fine. It's fine. Just great.
What was the
ruling.
phrase? This was educating. This was punishing. For those of you watching, that was open hand or backhand. I don't know.
Where the hell did that come from?
Probably some messed up judge back in 1782.
Yeah, but the one thing I've heard of, that one I've not.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to get to a less violent topic.
Okay.
Probably not. Anyways, I'm nervous. I'm now hesitating about going. What would the phrase be?
Wait,
Or
what?
maybe they talk about brides
Oh, cold feet.
getting cold feet. This phrase, obviously having doubts or nerves regarding a certain situation. They don't actually quite know. It was like written in a play once. Some like, I think, German play back in like the back in like the 50s, I think. And then it got popular, and then I think they brought it up. It was a romantic novel or play that discussed this woman getting cold feet. However, they think another theory, which I definitely believe is more of the idea, is that it originates on the battlefield when soldiers had to rush into battle. However, it was cold, the conditions were horrible, and a lot of them had frostbite, therefore having a very difficult time getting out and going into the battlefield. Hence, they had cold feet.
Yeah.
They couldn't really get up and fight. It was also just maybe the phrase because of that, or just them using that as an excuse to not go into battle. Because
Yeah.
who wants to get up and run off into the frozen tundra and then probably just get...
Yeah, run to your death. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
So, two options there with cold feet. We're going to stay on the topic of cold.
Okay.
This is another phrase that I had looked up back in the day, and I thought, oh, this is really fun. I hope this is the true history. However,
It wasn't.
it's got a couple different options.
Okay.
You know what? I'm just going to...
Oh, cold shoulder.
She's good. For those of you listening, I turned my back on her.
Again. Just...
It didn't faze her that much. Yes, the cold shoulder.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Do you remember the phrase that I brought up?
Which one?
Or the history? My bad. The history about this phrase?
Did you just bring it up? My brain's not working.
It's okay. What does it mean when you're giving someone the cold shoulder?
Oh, yeah. I mean, basically, you're like turning a shoulder to them. You're like ignoring them or whatever. Yeah.
Intentionally ignoring.
yeah.
Showing no interest.
Yeah.
Just, I'm done with you. Well, a couple thoughts here. One is that it's a mistranslation of the Latin phrase,
Oh, yeah.
dederunt humerum residentem.
Say that 10 times fast. Okay.
Okay. The phrase actually means stubbornly they turn their backs on you.
Ah, okay.
I think it actually meant like an express retreat when I did Google Translate.
Okay.
So we'll go with that.
Slowly back away.
Right. The other thought that I had, and I swear I would have saw this. I think someone also that I mentioned this to, they thought that's what cold shoulder meant, is that they were turning over in bed, exposing their shoulder to the outside of the sheets, which got cold. Like, I'm done. I'm not listening to you. So I'm going to turn, and this exposed shoulder is going to get cold because it's outside the sheets. Which I thought, oh, that kind of makes sense too.
Yeah. I don't know. For some reason, that one does not. I don't know. For me, just I don't look. I didn't write this. I'm just saying.
Just my Googling.
Okay.
Okay, maybe not. But the other theory that I loved, that I thought was great, it was also back in like the medieval or Tudor era, when people had feasts and they had people over. A lot of times, there was a bit of a journey back, and after this big elaborate feast inside someone's tavern, they wanted you not to go home empty-handed, so they actually handed you a cut of meat, usually the shoulder, that was packed up and able to transport back home.
Oh, okay.
Basically on the end of the night to say, thanks for coming, here's some food, get out. Which, I would love that. If someone's like, I'm tired, here's some pulled pork for later.
That's happened to us on many occasions.
That actually has. Now, I'm starting to think that's a good phrase, because a lot of people have done that. Here, take this, please, leave, go, goodbye, goodbye.
Throwing a bottle of booze, I'm out.
Peace.
Thanks.
So there's some random theories on cold shoulder.
Okay.
Here's an exciting one, too, that I think is quite interesting, and also talk about awesome story. But turning a blind eye.
Yeah.
Now, the phrase turn a blind eye means to what?
Like, not literally see something and act like you're not seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You turn a blind eye, you're not acknowledging it, you choose not to.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that goes along with the term ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
In a way.
I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah. It originated from a British admiral in the Battle of Copenhagen in 1801. He actually had this, Admiral Nelson, had lost one of his eyes during a previous battle.
I felt like you were going to say that. Okay.
During this Battle of Copenhagen, he received a signal from his commanding officer to withdraw. He's like, hey, this is bad. We're going to lose. Can't do it.
He said, say to my bad eye.
So he legit pulled his telescope up to his blind eye and said, I didn't see it. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't see a signal. And went into battle. And they eventually won the battle. But
He did it with one eye open.
Oh, absolutely, he did.
Good God.
I just thought, how ballsy is that?
That is hilarious.
It's almost like to the level of like, nope, can't hear you. I don't know what you're
La
talking
la
about.
la 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 la.
I'm plugging my ears, by the way, for the audio listeners.
Hysterical.
Just like, no. I got this. Like risking life and death. Like,
My
now,
God. And they won. What are the odds?
One. Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay.
Yeah. One could say he maybe had a chip on his shoulder.
Was it cold too?
You like that? You like that segue? Yeah, it was a cold shoulder. When that chip's on, oh, we're on to something. Let's build that recipe. What does a chip on your shoulder mean?
Like, you got just like you're holding a grudge. Like you've got, yeah.
You're pissed.
You're pissed, yeah.
You're looking for a reason to be upset at this point. Well, it originates from a 19th century custom where a person looking to fight, it's usually like came off like the naval yards and stuff like that, where they would actually put a piece of wood, a chip on their shoulder, waiting for someone to try to knock it off. So they had a reason to fight them. This is the thing.
Such a frat boy move.
It is. And all I thought is
God.
this is like the modern day guys that go out to a bar looking for a fight.
Oh, absolutely.
You stepped on my shoe. You bumped into me. That's it, bro. Bring the thunder. That's how I fight, by the way. Hence my adult fight. Yes.
Thunderdome.
But yeah, they legit would just put a little piece of wood on there so anything happened. Knocked it off. They're like, that's it. Time for fisticuffs. Pow, pow, pow. And I'm sure they fought back in the day like that too. Like the old Irish boxers, the both hands kind of out.
God. Okay, that is news to me. I've never heard that before.
Yeah. Chip on your shoulder. Like can you imagine, by the way, going into an old pub back then and you walk in and there's like a dozen guys with like little pieces of wood all just like trying to pick who they're going to bump into.
Actually, God forbid you're a wood carver. Like, I'm just trying to do my job.
Some guy comes over, he's like, I need another piece about this big.
God.
The other piece was too big. It kept falling off.
Oh my God. It's like, that's enough is enough. You're accidentally covered in wood shavings. You're like, today is going to be a bad day.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, sometimes things get really expensive and then they just cost an arm and a leg. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah, they do.
That's kind of what the phrase means.
Yeah, unbelievably expensive.
Unbelievably expensive. Yeah. Unfortunately, this is a multiple theory of history again, is that it literally kind of was the meaning, is that it was usually during the world wars, and soldiers would lose limbs in battle fighting for our freedom. Therefore,
cost them an arm and
freedom
leg.
cost them an arm and a leg.
Yeah, that makes sense. Grim. Makes
Grim.
sense.
Thank you for your service. Another theory that's not so grim, which is also possible, could be related to portrait painting in the 18th and 19th centuries. And apparently, back then, you see a lot of the photos, is a portrait. You literally get, what, chest high,
The bust.
head. That's it. That's all you got. If you wanted to include your arms and legs, like a full body painting, you had to pay extra for the additional work.
Okay.
So a full body portrait would cost an arm and a leg compared to that one just showed your head and shoulders.
Knees and toes.
That costs extra. Costs an arm and a leg.
It always does.
Not just knees and toes. Arm and leg.
Eyes and ears and mouth and nose. Okay, got it.
All. I was about to be like, put your right foot in. And, oh, it's a different
No,
song.
we're not hooky cocaine. Okay.
Yeah.
So you said
Yeah.
there's another one too?
No, those are the two,
Okay.
basically. So either it referred to literally losing your limbs for the cost of freedom,
Yeah.
or paying extra so you can look fabulous in your painting. Either one. Sometimes you gotta risk it to help out a friend, and by risking it, you maybe
Oh, put your neck out or put your neck on the line.
you stick your neck out for
Yeah.
someone. Yeah. So you're kind of, you're risking whatever it is, any incrimination, any trouble, or anything like that to help out, or yourself. Any thought as to where that came from?
Immediately went to beheading.
Yes, you're on the right track,
That's where my brain went to.
but it wasn't beheading humans. It's that the fact that on a farm, yes, is that chickens and turkeys will stretch their neck out when placed on the chopping block.
Hear that, girls?
She's threatening our chickens, by the way.
Just kidding. They're only
Justifiably
brains.
so, I get it. Yes, supposedly, when you put a chicken or a turkey on the chopping block, they'll actually stick their neck out farther.
These are the reasons why people are vegan.
Which I thought, man, that's got to be weird too. As the butcher, you're like, oh, okay, make it easier for me. don't
Okay. Okay.
The other theory that I had, I think I saw somewhere else, is that during war, when you stick your head up or you stick your neck out to look and see an enemy, you are risking yourself being
Yeah.
shot by a sniper, by anything. That's where I thought the phrase would be more popular, is
Yeah.
I stuck my neck out for my squad, whatever,
Yeah.
and because of that, I'm risking everything.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
You be the judge. Okay, let's go a little bit more to limbs here. Let's say you're busted.
Caught
And
red-handed.
she's on it. She's on it. Yes. Caught red-handed. Meaning what for the phrase?
Like literally caught in the act of whatever it is. You're caught in the act.
Yes, caught in the act. Correct. Supposedly back in the day, this was a Scottish legal term that if you were caught red-handed, you were busted in either two options, and I don't know exactly which one it is, but you were caught murdering someone and they caught you with blood on your hands, and that's how you were literally found guilty, or that you had murdered someone else's animal, which I think is more the actual term, because I don't think in Scotland there were a bunch of people just walking around just axe chopping people.
Oh,
I
willy-nilly
think it
style.
was all willy-nilly style. And then just everyone's just got a lot of blood on their hands. But I believe it was if you stole someone's animal and butchered it for whatever, for meat, they had to catch you with the blood on your hands for it to be a legal crime.
Interesting.
Which I'm assuming too, back in the day, that wasn't just super easy to like go to a fountain and wash your hands, because I don't think they had running water, or if they did, it wasn't just like this thing.
Yeah.
So that talks about sanitation back then. But yeah, the term caught red-handed was literally caught bloody-handed
Gross.
that you you had then butchered an animal that wasn't yours.
Can't do that. It's got to be your own hog.
Mm-hmm. Fun, right?
Yum.
We've got two more for you,
Okay.
and they both involve the lower extremities. Legs. Where are you going?
Feet? I don't know.
I'm just pulling your leg.
Oh, yeah. I'm just joking.
I'm just joking.
Yeah.
This is messed up, by the way. This was
Somebody taking a
verified.
prosthetic.
No, but it literally is pulling on someone's leg to rob them.
Oh, interessante.
This was, it's playfully deceive someone, tease them, all this stuff. No, the criminal underworld in the 18th and 19th century in London, a robber would literally trip you up with like a piece of string or wire, or anything by pulling on your leg, and while you fell, another robber stole your belongings while you were on the ground. And pulling your leg was to distract them while committing a crime.
Okay.
So,
Fun.
yeah. That was
the
a
evolution of the phrase.
I'm just pulling your leg. I'm just stealing your goods.
Look away, look away.
And the last one's awesome because, it's a phrase that we all know. But where did it come from? Why did it come from? It involves theater. It does involve a leg.
Break a leg.
You say break a leg before you go out on stage.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
I mean, you can't say good luck if you're in theater. That's bad luck. Just go out there and crush it. Break a leg.
Crush it. Break
Kick
a
some
leg.
ass. Yeah.
But where do you think it came from?
Shakespeare.
Probably.
I got nothing. Zero idea.
It was a way to wish someone good luck because it couldn't say good luck. It would be bad luck to say good luck.
Can't do that.
Sure. Numerous ideas. One says that spirits wreak havoc on your wishes and make the opposite happen. Another comes from ancient Greece, where the audience didn't clap, but instead stomped their feet to show appreciation. And if the audience stomped long enough, they would break a leg.
That would take a lot of stomping.
Some say the term originated during Elizabethan times, when instead of applause, they would bang their chairs on the ground, and if they liked it enough, the leg of the chair would break.
Oh. That's a lot easier than a femur.
That's a lot easier than snapping a tibia. I mean, you must have been good. But there's another common theory which refers to breaking the leg line of the stage. And that in the early days of theater, this is where ensemble actors were cued to perform. If they were not performing, they had to stay behind the leg line, which also meant they didn't get paid. So like break a leg, break the leg line, do well enough, and you'll get paid.
I feel like that feels like that's a pretty solid option.
And then the last one was in a 1939 autobiography of Edna Ferber, in which she writes about in theater, all the understudies sitting in the back row would politely wish the various principals would break their leg in hopes that they could get the spot. So like break a leg is like, no, seriously, break your leg so I can get up there on stage and do my thing. Pow, 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 pow. That's my dance. I think it's kind of cool though. I do like the idea of banging chairs on the ground and doing so well that you hope you snap a chair leg.
Yeah. I'm just envisioning what year are they saying this happened?
That was in Elizabethan times.
I was just mentally going over what kind of chairs would be around. And
I don't
how
think
many
they were
you
that
have.
sturdy, yeah.
Well, I'm just thinking how I don't know. I was thinking like amphitheater type situation. Like obviously like ancient Rome and whatnot they had, or Greece they had like you'd sit on like it was the ground. You didn't have chairs, but obviously Elizabethan times you would. I was just working it through in my brain. I still
Can
think.
you imagine too, like if like let's say this is the idea, right? And there's like 200 people watching your performance. Like you get done, you get like bragging rights. Like I don't know what name they had back then. I was thinking Little John. Oh, Jonathan, I snapped 4 legs during my performance. How many did you snap last week? Oh, just 2.
The theater's like, that's great. It's your fault. You fix them.
You get to buy them.
You're welcome.
Like, yeah, I don't know if that was a good way of measuring your performance is like, oh, I broke 7 legs last week.
Because you know they didn't have Gorilla Glue back then. So these mofos are just like out here breaking chairs, having to put them back together again.
Spending the rest of his time literally just building chairs. He's like, I don't even have time to perform. I gotta be a freaking carpenter now.
The age-old thing. Do I want to break the chairs or mend the chairs?
Yeah. Yeah. So there's phrases with body parts in them. Interesting stuff. I think, I don't know if you have a favorite. I do like pulling your leg. I thought that was messed up.
I mean, well, the break leg thing just makes me giggle because as a theater kid, we said that all the time. And I never really thought much about it other than we said it all the time.
Yeah.
So that's kind of funny.
I think the other one that to me just cracks me up is the chip on your shoulder. Like, I want to go back to that time and see a bunch of dudes with little wood chips or like pieces of bark. And they're like trying to hold it like a parrot.
They're all at a bar, but they're moving like...
Just ever so gently, just waiting for the time to strike. Jesus. And I'm like, how did that start? Hey, you knocked my wood chip off? Like,
I'm telling you,
yeah, I did
carpenters.
you a favor.
Listen, they're out there. They're over here just trying to make a goddamn chest.
I don't know. It's peculiar to me.
Yeah, well, that's why it no longer exists.
Yeah, weird things all
Now
the time.
it's just dudes going to bars with white shoes, hoping somebody steps on them and messes them up.
Right. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Well, that's our episode. I hope you learned something. I hope it provided more intrigue into other phrases, as we will probably have more episodes because there are so many phrases for so much weird stuff. If you like it, please subscribe. Check it out. We got a bunch more stuff coming down the road. If you think we're wrong, message us. If you want us to study something else, message us. Do it all. Happy to oblige. Until then, enjoy yourself. Keep the chips off your shoulder. And
Break a leg.
we'll hear from you next time and break a leg. Bye.
Bye.